Sorry, guys, I'm here about that. Bit of a computer hiccup today. Wanting to fight me back. I won. That's what matters. I won. All right. I hope you guys are doing well. It is 34 minutes after the hour. Good morning, everyone. Hello to Karen. Hope all is well. Good morning to Johnny. When are we getting some rain? We're going to come back to that, Johnny, because I know you've been asking about rain the past couple of days. Some of you got some rain in the past 24 hours. Some were skipped, including yours truly. So that's all right. That's all right. All my annuals have kind of given up on them. I'm like, oh, well, might as well go ahead and just let them surrender at this point. Hello to Judy. By the way, you can comment on Facebook, Twitter, X, and on YouTube as well. Good morning to Judy. Good morning to Tyler. Hope all is well, Tyler. Hello to Paul. Good morning from Madison, Indiana. How cool did you get this morning in Madison, Paul? Because some of the numbers were coming in pretty low earlier on today. I'll show you some of those in just a second. All right, guys, are you ready? Several things to cover today. I alluded to in the tease to the blog today, there's some interesting stuff on the radar. We'll get to that actually first, and then we'll get into the trends for the little bit of the longer term, including some of the nuggets. I told you guys I was going to give you some of the longer term data, not too much into winter yet, because I got to save some of that for the winter forecast, which again comes out Halloween night. Halloween night, I'll have more on the long term, but I'll try to give you some data to get you through at least fall and show you as that data rolls out. I'll be sharing it with you all throughout this week. This week is usually one of the bigger weeks for those type of outlooks to come out. So as each day I get a chance to look over them and dive through all the details, I will send them out to you guys. Okay, so let's start with the latest outside. What a gorgeous shot. This is at the Shops of Bluegrass, the outlets there into Simpsonville, Kentucky, where you guys, they're dropped into the lower 50s this morning. The lowest I could find in Kentucky on the Kentucky Mesonet site was 48 degrees. That was for you guys in Brandenburg, Kentucky. So if you're in Brandenburg, give yourself a shout out in the chat. 48 degrees, coldest in Kentucky this morning. Indiana, don't have all the numbers for you all. Unfortunately, the network for Indiana, this is something I've said this before, but I really hope, whether it's IU, IUS, or into Purdue, I hope someone creates some type of a weather live network there that Kentucky has with the Kentucky Mesonet that's taken on basically by Western Kentucky University. It helps when we have those stations throughout almost every single county. That way we can get data like that, and certainly helps in big severe weather events. As soon as the wind hits the gauges, we get alerted and we can see the numbers skyrocket. So Indiana's network is not as dense as the one is Kentucky, so it's a little hard to get information. So if anybody knows anyone at those schools, knows how to pull some strings, try to get that in gear, right? Let's see. Hello, Jackson. Hope all is well. Let's see. Made it. Sadly, I'm still sick. Everyone in the low area, I hope they're okay. I hope you're okay, Jackson. Hang in there. I'm getting over whatever it is. I've been fighting sinus infection. Usually I get those a lot, asthma, that kind of stuff. But I think I'm finally on the upward climb on that after being difficult at times to just even talk has been a pain because the pressure is so intense. You guys with sinus infections, that pressure is horrible, especially when it's near your eyes. So if I've acted a little weird in the past week or talked a little weird or certainly looked a little weird, which is almost every day, then hopefully that makes sense. Beautiful sky out there now. I get that blue out there. And this is a look from space with the radar turned on. And now you're thinking, wait a minute, there's no rain. There's not even clouds. So how in the world is the radar lighting up? And it's not just lighting up, but it's lighting up with motion. So what do you guys think this is? Type in the chat if you know. The motion is the key word on that. Look carefully at it as it loops through. This is the past 3 hours. This is from the radar beam at Fort Knox at the moment. And Laura is the first to chime in there. Thank you, Laura. It is birds. Thanks, Karen. You got it as well. Yes, birds is what we're talking about. And it's that time of the year, right? So let me turn on the other radar sites in the Ohio Valley, including right here into Louisville, and notice they're all showing the same theme. And there is a bit of a turn to it, but especially at sunrise, it really began to light up. And the reason for that is indeed the birds. They are currently in migration across the Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley, heading this morning across Kentucky. Some are heading southeast, but once they cross into Kentucky, they turn to the southwest. Last night, just in the Wave Country area alone, 1.8 million birds were in the air that passed over while you were asleep last night. 1.8 million. Most of them are, there's so many different versions. I'm not a really good person with birds there, but I think most of them are the warblers. I can say the names right. The little small, look like finches. The warblers. I should just give it the first time I tried. Are the main bird that is heading south. Although there's one called a pewee. I'm not sure if a pewee is a finch or a warbler as well. But they are all heading southbound. Of course, it is a little ahead of schedule based on previous years. They're about a week early, I've noticed. But that's nothing too crazy. You know, it's not really a sign that the Arctic is coming our way. This is purely based, as you guys know, on the sun angle. They know that it's time, and they use the magnetic fields of the planet, which is pretty awesome because we have to use GPS and our apps and our phones to figure out where we're going to go. But birds just use the magnetic force of the planet and know exactly where to go. Yeah. We're the smart ones. Anyway, the birds heading south for the winter. So some of you may be doing the same thing, getting ready for your vacation destination to park there for the winter. By the way, so that was cool. And you're going to see that a lot on the radar this week, especially. This is a big week for the birds to do their migration now until about mid-October. So you're going to see them light up the radar, especially at sunrise and sunset. So I may mention this a few times. And those of you that are lucky enough to be here today, you guys know all the inside scoops. You'll be able to chime in before I can. So I appreciate that. Here is a look at Lee. It's still a hurricane. Churning out here in the Atlantic. This is when the sun came up this morning. Look how it lit it up. It doesn't still have a very well-defined eye. It's constantly replacing itself in the middle there, but it is expanding, no doubt. I mean, this system is literally, if not double, almost triple the size in its field when it was when we first started talking about it, which was sometime back in May. Lee, though, is still forecast to stay away from the U.S. mainland. The only issue is going to be east of Nantucket, head into the Nova Scotia area, the Canadian Maritimes, and at that point, it will not be a hurricane. It would have a different classification. Still exact same impacts. For them, it's still going to be a lot of wind, a lot of surf, a lot of rain, but certainly it is going to be a big impact for that area, and a lot of the shipping industry is going to be impacted as Lee gets higher into latitude. But the good news is no impacts directly here to the eastern United States. Okay, so we got birds. Well, they've got mostly all the mess out there into the Atlantic. For us, talked about the lows this morning, but also we'll talk about the rain. You know, Johnny was talking about how he needed some rain earlier, and yes, we certainly needed whatever we could try to squeeze out yesterday. It wasn't a lot. I really think the rain that we had yesterday morning across the parkways, for those of you in the portions of Marion County and Washington County, you got some of the highest of the entire event, and that was about 1/4 of an inch, 2/10 to maybe 1/4 in that area. And it didn't last maybe a couple of hours. It faded away. The afternoon rain was, well, I'd say the midday rain was more of a drizzle or sprinkles. I don't think it even registered at all the international. I was out with an umbrella. I'm a big baby, but I was out with an umbrella in the weather garden on the midday show yesterday. It was raining enough that you would definitely tell I was getting wet being out there, but I don't think it was enough to really soak the ground or anything. And some of the totals really got, I guess, low end as you headed towards southern part of the metro. which is where I'm at. So yeah, I got 0. But some of you in the knobs yesterday near downtown, Northeast Jefferson County, yeah, you got a few hundredths of an inch of rain. I hope you enjoyed it because we're not looking at a lot coming down the road. And because of that, it's a dry pattern for us, dry and sunny. Cool nights again. Tonight, I think will be another chilly one. We've got, this is Friday morning's lows, which will still be cool. I meant to put Thursday tonight into Thursday morning. I think tomorrow morning will be the coolest of the week. I think we'll have a lot more 40s tomorrow than we had even today. Even in Louisville, I think we'll be awful close to that 50-degree mark. But right now, Friday looks great. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to near 80. It does look like now, since we didn't get much rain, we have a higher potential to hit 80 or 81 this weekend. Not hot, but it will be warm. But with so many events going on with the Gaslight and Bourbon and beyond, perfect. The only issue that we'll have will be Sunday. There's a little wave I'll show you in a second that's going to pass by. It actually arrives in a couple of bands or spokes as it moves in. I'm not sure how connected it's going to be when it passes by wave country. So there's a chance it moves on by and it's so split apart that we may just not get anything out of it on Sunday. But we'll go 20-30% for it and see if it'll trend in our favor with future updates. But right now, it's not looking great to get much out of that on Sunday. And that's unfortunate because, again, we need the rain. But good for the events. Good for the events. Then we have a small cool down because of that little split that happens. Nothing dramatic, 1 or 2 degrees. Then we ramp up. Do we get up close to 90 again next week? Right now, I'll say no. I'll say no. Glass half full. But it will be warm. There's our front, the split on Sunday. You can see, if you look carefully, of course, the blues being cooler weather, yellows and reds being warmer. And you can see where you got the little bit of green there near Louisville. That's that split of the showers moving across Kentucky on Sunday. It's out of here quick. Nice little cool down, as I mentioned, for a few days next week. And then we have the chance to warm up. Now, you look at the Atlantic, you see another system. That's not Lee. That's not Margot. That would be Nigel. That has yet to form, and I think it will form today. But that system will be approaching the United States. It will get disrupted by a coastal low that's going to be forming right here. I think that's going to disrupt Nigel, so that's good news for the East Coast. More than likely, it'll help steer it away. Meanwhile, keep an eye up here into the provinces of Canada, all the way in Northern Rockies. Our next system dives in. Now, the models, especially GFS and Euro, are not agreeing on what to do with this. GFS wants to bring this in a very wide fashion as a large-scale type system with maybe a band of rain or some thunderstorms. It really doesn't have a ton of cool weather with it, but it definitely prevents the heat from rolling. The Euro is a little more compact with it, has a little more of a kick, cooler weather underneath the actual upper low, so we'll get chilly underneath this little bad boy, and it will have a line of showers, maybe some thunderstorms with that. We'll see, especially if we get into the mid to upper 80s ahead of that. We could get some thunderstorms. That would be, what's the date say on there? 23rd, first day of fall. So next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday before we would have to face it, and then we'll see if it'll give us another little cool wave or not. But that's it. 2 things to watch. And they're both on the weekends, but in between all that, it really is going to be very quiet around here. I wanted to share you guys though with the share with you the longer term. Let's see, what was that, Jackson? The GFS is always funny to me. Yeah, GFS. GFS is good about sniffing out pattern changes. It just doesn't know what to do with them, and it gets a little crazy with them as far as being overly dramatic. But it's good about sniffing them out faster than other models. It just loses its game. The GFS I like on days, I would say 3 to 5. It does really well. You get inside day 3 and it falls apart on you. So they all have their little personalities. It's kind of weird. Dan, is it time to close the poll without the heater? Maybe. Again, we'll be in the mid to upper 80s. I'm pretty solid on this for next week, but I don't think, I don't know if it's going to be a dry heat, not a humid scenario. So you get out of the water with this kind of air, you're going to evaporate so quickly in your skin, you're going to get chilly. You'll be wrapped up in a towel, even if it's 86 outside. So, I'm not sure if it's full-on pool weather or not. Not exactly, though. Those humid days are pretty much gone from our area. All right, here's an outlook from this is from the Japanese model agency they put out. And I love looking at these. They've been doing this since I've been doing this career. And it's exciting to look at the long-term maps. And it's a little harder to see. I should have focused this a little more onto the United States, but we're right in through here, the eastern part of the country. This is temperature for October, November, and December. So basically the autumn season. And it does have us below normal, but I should say not as above normal as other areas. I shouldn't say below normal because it really doesn't show that, but it does have us not as warm as you would expect other parts of the area would be during that window. So fairly normal is what I'm basically trying to say on the temperature side. And then when you look at the moisture side, again, kind of hard to see that. If you look carefully and squint, yeah, I don't know if that's going to even work. I mean, you guys, where the monitor is, it's even far away from my face. I need to get new glasses or contacts. You can see it right there in the eastern part of the country. There's a little bit of green. Couple things on this. I have a feeling that a lot of that green you're seeing in the southeast corner is tropical related. I got a feeling it's more of homegrown tropical systems in the Gulf of Mexico that are curving across the southeast corner of the country, and or one or two upper lows that come in from the Great Lakes and get cut off in the eastern part of the country. That's what it looks like to me is the reason why we've gotten a little bit of a cooler pocket showing up and why the rainfall is a little higher. I think it's mainly tropical based. I don't think it's anything you could take much more from that idea. This is looking at the Pacific Ocean. I really was hoping to see the green here was going to be aimed a little more into the Gulf of Mexico. Right now, it's not showing that. That's going to be a big player for the winter. We've got to get that jet. If you want wild, wicked winter weather, you're going to have to get that jet supplying the low pressures, your Texas lows, your Alabama lows, all that stuff. You're going to have that aimed more into Kentucky. And at least to the fall season, it's not there yet. But that may change, as you guys know. All right, so there's your little nuggets from the Japanese model agency. I'll have other model agencies this week to show you guys in the long term. Any questions? Anyone good? Danielle, no snow. Danielle, in case you guys don't know, wants 95 degrees every day. Every day, Danielle. We're going to get it to you one day. The world may be ending when that happens, but we'll give it to you. Let's see. Travis, 46 degrees, Travis, up there in northern Indiana. Thanks, Travis. Always appreciate it. And I know you're ready for the winter. Let's see, Hunter. Some people are saying we are going to see 46 degrees lows this week. Well, Hunter, where are you? First off, that matters. If you are away from the city of Louisville and say Meade County, Bardstown, or even southern Indiana, yeah, I think 46 is reachable. In the city of Louisville, no, not going to happen. Severe number season 2. A good point, Chris. Usually we get 2 severe weather time periods in the year, spring and autumn. The jet stream pattern is nearly the same for both seasons. That's the reason why we have 2 of them. Ours usually is a little more toward November around here. November, December, we ramp up. At the moment, I'm not seeing a strong signal for that until the jet shows a little more moisture. Otherwise, if the tropics do all the curving there from the Gulf or from the East Coast, that's going to cut down any severe threat. It's going to be mainly just rain events. It's your birthday today. Well, happy birthday, Danielle. Everyone say happy birthday to Danielle. She wants 90 for her birthday. Hunter in southern Indiana. All right, Hunter. Yeah, southern Indiana, you have a chance to get to 46. I would buy that. I think 46 is a reachable number for you all. All right, guys, I'm going to run. Got to get ready for the midday show, but at least want to spend a little bit of time with you all and touch base on where we stand on the birds, the bees, and the other stuff. And I'll come back around again to longer term stuff as we head into later on this week. Until then, enjoy the beautiful weather outside, and I will see you guys on the flip side.